Hi, I'm here from Aunt Em's Quilts and Em's Scrap Bag, and today I'm going to show you how to do a scrappy pineapple. I'll show you how to make the block, and then you'll just rinse and repeat, making lots of blocks to put them together. So what you will need for this is the pineapple trim tool from Creative Grids. You'll need lots of strips, and then you'll want contrasting. So I've done bright scrappies with low volume. If you feel really confident in your accuracy both in cutting and sewing, you can use 1.5 inch strips. The ruler does tell you to use 1 3/4 to 2 inches, but I find there's a lot of waste that way. But if you don't feel comfortable or confident in your cutting and sewing accuracy, use the 1 3/4. That will give you a little wiggle room. I cut my strips with the die cutter with AccuQuilt Go, and I'll put a link to that in the description below. So I know that they are cut accurately, and I feel pretty confident in my 1/4 inch seams. So I went that way, but like I said, if you want a little wiggle room, go 1 3/4. All right, let's get started. All right, to start, I didn't mention this in the materials you need. Sorry about that, but you're going to start with a 2.5 inch square. So that will be your center, and then you're going to take one of your strips. We're going to line it up along the edge here, and we're going to sew along the edge. So we're going to sew that on. I don't know if you can see my stitch. And then we're going to pull this back. Trim this up. I like to line up lines, so my inch line here, I'm going to line up the line right here. That just ensures that everything is straight and square, okay? And we're going to cut that. Then we're going to go like courthouse steps, so we're going to go across the other way, and we're going to get us another strip and sew it onto this side, right along here. And once we get it sewn on that way, we're going to once again press it up. And I do use my iron, and I do use steam to hold it. And then we're going to line up, like I said, line up these lines. That will just help keep everything square. And we're going to trim this. I'm caught up in my strip. All right, and then we're going to add strip on this side and a strip on this side. So you'll sew that together, and you end up with this cute little unit. All right, and then we're going to take our ruler, and on here it says round 1. We're going to make sure that our 2.5 inch square fits right in that square. All right. And then we're going to trim along here. And we're going to turn. I'm going to do that again. Turn. Line up the square. Trim, and then we'll do the last side. Line up the square and trim, and we get something that looks like this square and a square. We're going to do the same thing. So on this side, sew on this side, and then we'll sew on these sides. And then our unit will look like this. We'll take our ruler, and we're going to look for the round 2. This is round 2 right here. So we're going to line up our square in there. And then we're just going to trim those corners. We're going to flip this around, line up our square, and trim these corners. All right, and our unit looks like this. And we're going to do the same thing this side and this side, and then these sides. Remember to press in between. You get this little unit that looks like this. Then on our ruler, this is round 3, and it says here rounds 3, 5, and 7. So we are going to line up on this seam here with our ruler. And then we're just going to trim, turn, line it up, trim, turn, line it up. And also a helpful way to keep everything straight is they have this line that goes through. If you put that diagonally through your square, it will help to keep everything square, all right? So line up through the diagonal through your square and the line here on your seam and trim. If you're using the 1 3/4, you'll have a little out here that you'll be trimming away. But it lines up just perfectly if you use the 1 1/2, if you're very accurate, but you do have to be accurate. All right, then we get this cute little unit. Then we're going to go back to our bright scraps. We're going to, once again, this side and this side. And this side and this side. And then our unit looks like this. So now we're on round 4. So we're going to look on our ruler for round 4 right here. And we're going to line our square up on that. And then we're going to trim. Whoa, sorry, I'm bumping the camera. Hope I'm not making you motion sick. So line up for round 4 on the square. So your unit looks like this. All right, and then we're going to go back to our low volume. This side and this side, this side and this side, and our unit will look like this. If you forget what round you're on, you can just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, on 3, 5, and 7, we're going with this line here that we line up on our last seam here. Make sure you go through the diagonal of your square to keep everything nice and straight, and trim. So it will look like this. And I always keep everything pressed. I don't spray with starch very often. Maybe at the very beginning and the end. I don't want it to shrink, so I don't do it all of the time. Okay, we're going back to our brights. Here and here, here and here. And it will look like this. And we're going to find round 6. It says round 6 right here. Line up that round 6 with the diagonal going through. And then we're going to trim it. Just turn and trim all the way around. And here we are. We're getting bigger. It's exciting. Once again, on this side and this side, we're going to sew our strips, and then this side and this side, and we get our unit that looks like this. And we're on 7. So line through the diagonal there, our seam on this line right here, and then we're going to trim. Do that all the way around. Okay, and our unit's going to look like this. If you follow the ruler instructions, they're going to have you do 2 more bright strips here and 1 more out, here and 1 more out. I have found, and this works great for me, that if I use a charm square that I just cut on the diagonal, that I don't have to do the 2 sets. So I have my unit here, and then I can sew my triangles. On like this. I need to bring my camera up so you can see it all. Okay, so we'll have this, and once you get them sewn on, you'll have this, and then you can just take your ruler. So we're just going to get our square up ruler, and we're just going to square this up to 10.5 inches square. And while the charm square is a little bit bigger, it's something I have a lot of, and it just gives you wiggle room to get everything squared up. And that's your pineapple block. So rinse and repeat, make a bunch, and then when you sew them together, just pin where these seams are so everything comes together. Have fun making these. I hope you'll share them with me. You can email me pictures. You can share them on my Facebook group. I'll put a link in the description below. Instagram, just do @mscrapbag, so I'll be sure to see it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.